The latest headlines in the Ivy League, covered through exclusive interviews right now. From campus to campus, go around the Ancient Eight with Brian Seltzer, Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network. Basketball.
This past Saturday, the rest of the Ivy League took the court for the start of conference play. One of those programs, the Cornell Big Red, hosting intrastate rival Columbia at Newman Arena. Barry Leonard of the Ivy League Digital Network was there on the call. All right, Barry, that game on Saturday was really close, hard-fought. Columbia edged by Cornell 48-45. There's a rematch coming up this Saturday night down at Levian Gymnasium in New York City. What are some of the adjustments that the Big Red need to make?
Well, they got to shoot the ball better, Brian. You're not going to win at any level of basketball shooting 25% overall, 24 from the three-point line. They want to get the ball in transition off makes and misses. They want to push tempo. They didn't do that to the degree that they'd like. And finally, it sounds simplistic, Sean Miller has got to get more aggressive with the basketball and probably get to the basket, post up a little bit more. So I think Sean Miller was a big focus of Columbia. Will be again. Miller has got to get back to being Sean Miller on the offensive end of the floor.
Miller's return, Barry, has been one of the biggest storylines, not just for Cornell, but for the Ivy League this season. He missed all of last year with a shoulder injury, and now the former Ivy League Rookie of the Year big man. All he's done is gone on to lead the conference in both scoring and rebounding. His return, the 8 wins the Red were able to get in the non-conference portion of the schedule, how much has that boosted this group for this year?
Well, I think it's an entirely new team. They have 6 seniors, including the return of point guard Jalal Cancer. I think they're all a year better. They understand Bill Courtney's system extremely well, and they're really laying it out on the defensive end of the floor, Brian. They forced 23 turnovers against Columbia last week, held not all those scoreless, and really defending from the three-point line. Defense and experience, I think, has been a big swing this year for Cornell.
Cornell heads east this Saturday night, 7 o'clock tip-off versus the Columbia Lions on the Ivy League Digital Network, round 2. And Barry Leonard of the Ivy League Digital Network will be there. Barry, appreciate a few minutes.
Pleasure, Brian.
Wrestling.
Heading down south and finishing up this week in University City in Philadelphia, Chaz Dorman from the Penn Sports Network. Following Penn Wrestling, Chaz, new leadership for Penn this season, former Stanford assistant coach and a Big Ten Wrestler of the Year at Illinois, Alex Tirapelli, in his first year as head coach for the Quakers. What type of identity and culture has he been trying to establish and forge in year number 1?
Coach Tirapelli, Brian, he's been, really focusing on the skill level of the team. A lot of time in practice spent on drilling and raising that level of technique the team has. And then, as with any first-year coach, it may have taken a little bit to get going and really get ingrained through that transition process. But last week for the Quakers, 2 big wins, 48 takedowns combined in their 2 duels, and I think it's starting to take shape for the Red and Blue.
Chaz, you mentioned the victories this past Saturday versus Lock Haven and Army. They came in convincing fashion, first home matches of the season, but this Saturday a totally different type of challenge. Perennial power, a top 10 program right now in Cornell. What are some of the individual matchups you're going to be focused on? It seems like there could be a pretty good one at 184 pounds.
Yeah, Brian, that's arguably the marquee matchup that everyone's going to be looking toward. 2 top 5 wrestlers in the country at their weight class. For Cornell, it's number 1, Gabe Dean. He's a returning All-American. And for Penn, it's number 5, Lorenzo Thomas. He's a returning All-American. Those 2 found ways to wrestle each other a lot last year. They had 3 matches, and all went Dean's way. 2 were very close before Gabe got the better of Lorenzo at the NCAA tournament in one of the All-American rounds. And I know Lorenzo, having talked to him the last couple weeks, he's really excited about this matchup. He really wants that big-time signature win on his resume when it comes time to seed these guys in March for the NCAA tournament.
Some of the plots to follow this Saturday in Ithaca, New York. Cornell going for a 66th straight conference match victory, hosting Penn this Saturday. Chaz Dorman from the Penn Sports Network will be there. Chaz, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of Around the Ancient Eight on the Ivy League Digital Network. Be sure to head to ivyleaguesports.com or ildn.tv for the latest coverage on the conference.
This has been Around the Ancient Eight, highlighting headlines from the Ivy League. Check out new episodes premiering Thursdays on the Ivy League Digital Network.